Shabbat Shalom. It's lovely to see you all. And if you're joining us on the live stream, it's equally lovely to have you with us this evening. Thanks for being here. Feel free to say hi in the chat, and someone will be happy to interact with you throughout the service. For those of us here in person, we'll begin this evening with a Yai Lai Lai melody, a nigun, to welcome in Shabbat together. I invite you to join me in singing. Yai La La Lai 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 Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 Lai, Yai La 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 Lai Lai Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 Lai, Yai La 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 Lai Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La 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 Lai Lai Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La 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 Lai Lai Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 La Lai, Yai La La Lai 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 Lai, Yai La 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 Lai Lai. Shabbat Shalom. It is great to see you, great to have you here. We'll bring a little bit of light, a further light into our Shabbat this evening as we begin by lighting our Shabbat candles. If you're with us in person, I invite you to turn to page 2 in the blue prayer book you should have gotten as you walked in. Page 2, our Shabbat candle blessings. We'll sing these words together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. You'll turn to page 10 in those same prayer books. We'll further move through our Kabbalat Shabbat service with words from Psalms, words of togetherness, how good and sweet it is for us all to be together. Right at the top of page 10, the words of Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. And just further down that page, just a little bit, same page, page 10. Ma yafeh hayom, how beautiful today is. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. If you'll turn to page 20 in the prayer book, we'll conclude the Kabbalat Shabbat section of our service by welcoming in the Sabbath bride, the Sabbath queen, with the words of Lecha Dodi. We'll use the refrain on top of page 20, as well as verses 1, 2, and verse 9 on page 21. Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, Shem u'tiferet v'litchila lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Yikrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Yihi mekor habracha, Merosh mekedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzohola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Our call to worship this evening preceded by the snapping of my guitar string. The first time in my going on 7-year career here at Sukkot Shalom where that has happened. And of course, it's at a solo service where I don't have someone to step in and cover for me while I go change it. So we'll deal with that as it comes, and we'll turn to page 28 as we receive our call to worship, our call to prayer, the formal section of our service this evening, the words of the Baruch Hu, praise God who is to be praised, praise Adonai to whom praise is due now and forever. I'll ask you please to rise. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. We'll turn now to page 34 as we recite the words of oneness, proclaiming us all to be followers, to be citizens, to be community members of our religion, and the prayer of oneness, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You may be seated. We'll chant together on page 36 the words that follow the Shema in the Torah. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Words of the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha Uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Turning together to page 42. We'll offer now the lullaby of our people, asking God to spread over us a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, as we offer these words together of Hashkivenu, top of page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Habidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Together we'll turn to page 46 as we arrive at the standing prayer, the tefillah, the Amidah section of our service. The first thing we'll do is ask God to open up our lips that our mouths may pray successfully, may declare God's praise. I'll ask you all to rise if you feel comfortable and able as we recite those words together. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, Ve'zocher Chazdei Avot V'imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Page 50. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishene afar, micha mocha bal givurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatmiach Yeshua, vene'eman ata lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Page 52. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yachalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Together, the English in the middle of the page. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated. Turning again in our prayer books to page 55, the reading at the bottom of the page, we'll offer this reading responsively. You can respond with the second and fourth paragraphs. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred into action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Again, reading together at the top of page 61, the evening prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, mevarech et amo Yisrael, Bashalom. We'll pause now for a moment of silent reflection and meditation. When you're finished, we'll join together on page 62, towards the bottom of the page, with the words of Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Words of Oseh Shalom at the bottom of page 62. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. I had almost considered not writing something down tonight and doing like a sermon and song or something like that. Thank goodness I didn't decide to do that. Showed up prepared, whether I knew it or not. Yesterday evening marked the 4th time this calendar year that I gathered with friends and colleagues from synagogues all around Chicago to perform under the name Chicago Sings. Chicago Sings is a collective of cantors and musicians that write and perform original Jewish music. We've been gathering together somewhat regularly since 2018 to perform at various synagogues, all the way from KAM Isaiah down on the south side, all the way out in Vernon Hills at Or Shalom, and even hosted here at Sukkot Shalom this past February. As you might imagine, finding dates that work for everyone to gather, both in terms of rehearsal and performance, can be quite a challenge. So yesterday evening was particularly momentous in that it marked the first time ever that we were able to gather 4 whole times in a calendar year to perform, and we have plenty of time left on the clock this year to squeeze in another couple. If I do say so myself, we sounded pretty good last night, in large part, I think, due to how frequently we've gathered over these past 8 months. It sounds silly to say out loud, but it's very true. The more practice and experience musicians have playing together, the better you're going to sound. Malcolm Gladwell theorized that the Beatles, as much raw talent as they each innately possessed, truly became the capital B British invasion Beatles due to their period between 1960 and 1962, in which they performed virtually nonstop throughout Hamburg, Germany. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that our Chicago Sings group is well on their way to being the Jewish Beatles, should this trend of getting together 4 whole times a year continue. Kidding aside, I was reflecting this morning on the benefit of habits. Our Chicago Sings group has made more of a habit of playing together this past year. The result, we sound better. I like to go running. Over the years, I have been able to cover more distance in shorter amounts of time because I do it more frequently. It is a habit. These are 2 things I would consider to be good habits, although my shin splints might feel a little differently. I suppose, though, that not all habits are necessarily good. I'm a fairly messy person. I'd like to be cleaner. And I'm often very hard on myself. I think it would be better to be gentler. These are habits of lifestyle and self-talk that I'm actively working towards changing. And then there are those habits that are somewhere in the between. I like to sleep in the morning. Often I sacrifice what could have been a peaceful half hour with my coffee on the porch for an extra half hour of slumber, and instead awaken directly to my rambunctious 1.5-year-old who insists on immediately turning on the noisiest toy that she can find. So I'm not sure if this is a good habit or a bad habit. There are obviously numerous health benefits to starting your day in a peaceful manner. But that being said, I feel like I'm a better version of myself when I get an extra half an hour of sleep. Further complicating all of this is our perception of other people's habits. Take my sleep schedule. I'm sure that depending on the person, my description of choosing to sleep in would be interpreted emphatically as either good or bad, depending on the person. So too with my running. Think about your knees, right? Others still might find it beneficial to, as I put it, be hard on themselves. They may find that a good thing. Perhaps in their view, they are pushing themselves to higher heights and meeting the expectations that they've set for themselves with that kind of talk. Shabbat is, in many ways, the ultimate habit. Once a week, we are given the gift of sacred time in which we reflect on the week's past and refresh ourselves for the week ahead. It is a time of rest, of study, and togetherness. It is a time as well for us to process together the highest highs and the lowest lows. Sometimes we gather simply to share a sweet story, share in the blessing of our children. These are joyous occasions. Just 1 month ago, we gathered in this very room to process the tragedy of the Highland Park shooting, processing the brokenness of our world. At first glance, one might describe our congregational habit as one of those in-between situations. Certainly, wrestling with challenge and difficult emotions is important, but it is also draining. Is it not equally important to enter a new week refreshed and rejuvenated, leaving those difficult and emotional conversations for the regular week? Although it may not be true for us all, I find our congregational habit of meeting the week's events head-on, no matter what, to be a good habit. In our sacred time together, we reflect honestly, and in doing so, bring those reflections into the work we do, both in and outside of our community, in the week ahead. Like the runner, running faster and longer as the weeks go by, we can make our community and our world more whole, more complete, by not forgetting about it in the midst of our sacred time. As we process now together 1 month since July 4th, may this be a Shabbat, yes, of peace and rest, but also of deep reflection and renewed commitment to repairing the brokenness of our world. Shabbat Shalom. I'll go ahead and grab my broken guitar again, and as I do, invite you to turn to page 253. We'll offer prayers of healing for anyone we know that is in need of healing, of body, of mind, or of spirit. As I look around the room, if you'd like to share the name of anyone you're thinking of, please feel free to do so. And as well, if you're joining us online, please feel free to leave a name in the chat should you wish. Page 253 in the middle of the page, Misha Berach. Shaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We'll turn together to page 282 as we've reached the concluding section of our service, the prayer Aleinu L'Shabeach. I invite you one final time, if you're with us in person, if you feel comfortable, to rise. Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol, Latet Gedula Leotzer Breshit, Shehu Note Shamayim Ve'osed Aretz, Umoshav Yikaro Bashamayim Mima'ol, Ushchinatu Zo B'Govei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, V'anachnu Korim, Umishtachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 287. V'ne'emar v'chaya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Turning together to page 293. At the bottom of the page, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, the Sukkot Shalom community remembers especially Cherie Victor, Richard Schlesinger, Lawrence M. Herman, Sonny Penn, Bessie Collins, Harry Zizuk, Irving Lowenthal, Sherman Wolf, August Schofer, Trudy Rosauer, William H. Schreiner, Francis Swidler, Carolyn Livingston, Carolyn Schultz, Lillian Gefsky. Other names you wish to share? If you're joining us online and would like to leave a name in our chat in remembrance, please feel free to do so. Page 294 in your prayer books, we recite together Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Le'olam Lalmei Almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, Shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Shabbat shalom to you all. If you joined us online, thank you for being here. If you're watching after the fact, thanks for being here. To those of us, well, really everyone, I'll advertise that next week's Shabbat will be once more and for the last time this summer in the beautiful garden of the friends we have over at First Presbyterian Church of Wilmette, which is basically just across the street. We'll hear once again from your friend and mine, Rabbi Mark Rothschild, and we'll offer a special blessing for our high school seniors, I should not say that, our college-bound freshmen, wishing them well on their next chapter. And then do mark your calendars as well for August 26th, our final beach service of the year at the Gilson Park Covered Shelter. We're going to have the brisket and the pulled chicken. You can bring sides and drinks for yourself. We'll have a musical outdoor Shabbat service and enjoy some barbecue together afterwards to end the summer. Shabbat shalom.